A young samurai came to my monastery, frustrated and broken. He had lost everything in a bad business deal, his savings, his reputation, his confidence. He knelt before me and said, "Master, I need to rebuild my wealth quickly. Tell me the fastest path." I handed him a rake and pointed to my Zen garden. He stared at me in disbelief. "I came to learn about money, not to rake sand." I smiled and said, "Rake it perfectly, then we will talk." He raked, impatiently at first, rushing, making mistakes, starting over again and again. After 1 hour, he found a rhythm, slow, deliberate, perfect. He looked up at me, and I said, "What you just did in this garden is called Kaizen, continuous improvement, one small, perfect movement at a time. This is the first law of Japanese wealth. Do not seek dramatic transformation. Seek 1% improvement every single day. 1% better with money today. 1% more disciplined tomorrow. 1% wiser next week, compounded over 1 year. 1% daily improvement makes you 37 times better than when you started. Not twice as good, not 10 times, 37 times. The dramatic leap you are searching for is built from invisible daily steps, too small for impatient eyes to see. The second teaching is the most misunderstood concept in all of Japanese philosophy when applied to money. It is called Ikigai, your reason for being. In Japan, we believe every human being sits at the center of 4 overlapping circles: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, what you can be paid for. Where all 4 circles meet, that is your Ikigai. That is where your wealth lives. Most people in the modern world chase only one circle: what they can be paid for. They ignore what they love. They ignore what they are good at. They ignore what the world truly needs. And so they earn money, but feel nothing. They accumulate, but feel empty. They succeed by every measure, and wonder why they feel like failures. The Japanese fisherman who loves the sea, who has perfected his craft over decades, who feeds his community with his catch, and earns honestly from his skill, that man has Ikigai. He never drags himself to work. He never counts the hours. He never fantasizes about retirement, because he is already living exactly the life he was designed for. Find your 4 circles, find where they overlap. Build your wealth there, and you will never work another day in your life. One afternoon, a student accidentally dropped and broke my favorite tea bowl. He was horrified. Trembling with apology, I picked up the broken pieces carefully, and I called for gold lacquer. I spent the next 3 days repairing that bowl, filling every crack with pure gold. When I was finished, the bowl was more beautiful than before it broke. My student stared at it in wonder. He asked, "Why did you use gold? Why not simply discard it?" I said, "This is called kintsugi, the art of golden repair. We do not hide our breaks and cracks. We celebrate them with gold, because the broken places are where the most strength lives." But today, I want to teach you a related Japanese concept, Mottainai. It means, what a waste, a feeling of deep regret over any unnecessary waste. In Japan, we waste nothing, not food, not time, not money, not relationships, not opportunities. Every coin wasted on something unnecessary is a coin stolen from your future self. Every hour spent without purpose is an hour stolen from your legacy. Before every purchase, ask yourself, Mottainai, would this be a waste? That single question, asked honestly every single day, will save you more money than any investment strategy ever will. A powerful samurai general came to me deeply troubled. He had borrowed heavily to fund a campaign. Now the debt consumed him. He could not sleep, could not think, could not fight. He said, "Master, the weight of this debt is heavier than my armor." I looked at him for a long time. Then I said, "A samurai fights best when he carries nothing unnecessary into battle. The great samurai generals of history always traveled light. No excess armor, no unnecessary weapons, only what was essential, only what gave them speed and freedom of movement. Debt is armor you cannot remove. It slows every movement you make. It weighs on every decision. It turns opportunities into threats because you are already carrying someone else's burden into every battle. The ancient samurai had a code: never fight with borrowed weapons, because a man fighting with borrowed weapons fights to protect the lender, not to win the battle. In your financial life, consumer debt is borrowed armor, credit card debt, car payments, buy now, pay later schemes. These are weapons someone else has lent you at a price that ensures they win even when you lose. Cut the debt, travel light. A warrior with freedom of movement always defeats a warrior heavy with borrowed burden. This final teaching is the one that confuses Western minds the most, but it is perhaps the most powerful of all Japanese money wisdom. It is called Ma, the Japanese concept of negative space, empty space, the power of what is not there. In Japanese art, the empty space is not absence, it is presence. The silence between musical notes is what makes music beautiful. The empty space in a painting is what gives the painted elements meaning. In money, Ma means this: you must create space in your finances, empty space between what you earn and what you spend. Most people fill every financial space the moment it appears. Salary increases, lifestyle increases, bonus arrives, new purchase follows. Every empty space immediately filled, and so they are always full and always somehow empty. The Japanese concept of Ma teaches us that the empty space, the gap between income and expense, is not emptiness. It is where wealth is born. In that space, investments grow. In that space, opportunities are seen. In that space, freedom accumulates. Protect your Ma fiercely. Guard the empty space in your finances the way a Zen master guards the silence in his monastery. Because the man with no financial space has no room to move, no room to think, no room to seize what fortune places before him. And the man with space, with margin, with breathing room, sees opportunities that the crowded man will never notice. The Japanese monk closed his eyes and spoke one final time. He said, "The cherry blossom is beautiful precisely because it does not last forever. Its value comes from its impermanence. Your time, like the cherry blossom, is finite. Every moment spent without purpose falls like a petal that will never return. Practice Kaizen, improve every day. Find your Ikigai where passion meets purpose. Honor Mottainai, waste absolutely nothing. Fight debt-free like a true samurai. Protect your Ma, guard your empty space." These are not just money lessons. These are life lessons from a civilization that understood that how you do anything is how you do everything. The way you handle one coin is the way you handle your fortune. If this ancient wisdom spoke to you, share it with one person who needs to hear it today. Subscribe to Wealthborn, ancient wisdom, modern wealth, every single week. Sayonara, until next time.